Hello fellow fish nerds and happy 25th day of the February fish vlogs. And today's video is an update to the video you see behind me, and also I'll post a link to it right here in the top right hand corner of your screen. It is an update to my full red albino guppies and how they are doing. Lots of changes have happened, good and bad. It's a video of mixed emotions. Last week's video, long story short, in case you didn't watch the video, was I came home excited to record the full red albino. This is my first strain reveal of fish that I got from my local fellow fish nerd friend that he picked up during the big fish deal weekend, and came home and looked close at the tank and saw that the male full red albino was dead. And that was sad, but I wanted to be real and keep things honest with you, so I did. Came home the next night to look close at my tank when I sit down at my desk and look at my fish tanks, more than just, feeding them some food like I do in the morning, and then in the afternoon when I get home. Then at night I finally can sit down at my tanks and look at them and watch the fish and actually enjoy it. I looked in and I noticed the female seemed to have some kind of growth coming out the side of her. I couldn't tell if it was a fungus or a parasite. So I watched her closely, and she was swimming kind of funny, and I was like, that's definitely bothering her. And it looked like she might be pine coning a little bit, or she was really fat. I couldn't tell the difference. And if she was pine coning, I was thinking, great, she has maybe a few days left, and then she dies basically of kidney failure. So I tried something else. I was like, you know what? I think she might die in a few days, so I'm going to try and do what I can do right now. I don't have the fish meds on hand, so I'll work with what I have. So I actually got her out of the tank, and I sprayed down a paper towel with hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, and wiped off the spot on her the best that I could with that hydrogen peroxide saturated paper towel, and put her back in the tank, and she seemed to be swimming a little bit better. The spot on her seemed to have gone away, and things seemed to be getting better. The next day I came home, sat at my desk to observe my fish tanks, and I noticed that she was swimming kind of funny again, and the spot was definitely back. Then I realized, okay, I definitely need to actually try to medicate her and do my best to try to fix the problem, because I lost the male. I don't want to lose these two females too. So I actually got some fish meds. I got the fish meds that are recommended by many fish tubers out there, one of which Michael from Michael's Fish Room and Corey from Aquarium Co-op, and their recommended dosage. And I think Bob from Steamfight Aquatics does the same dosing or same medicating for fish in quarantine, which is what I should be doing whenever I get new fish, especially from places I don't know, or if they're coming from far away or from overseas or internationally. This is definitely a best practice that I should have been doing, but usually I get by with it, and it's just fine because most of my fish are local. So I got the medications of Erythromycin and General Cure, and I brought home my medicated fish flake food from my classroom, medicated with Fenbednazol, and that way I was treating her externally and internally. And I didn't get ick X because guppies don't tend to get ick, and she was not showing any signs of ick, so I didn't get ick X. So this video is about how I am medicating the fish, their reactions to it, and it's honestly a roller coaster of emotion. As far as much as you can have with guppies, there's some exciting times and some frustrating times. So, but anyways, you'll have to watch to find out how it goes. So that's the background. Stay tuned for the actual all of what's going on. I'll see you on the other side of the theme song.
It's Mr. Science Geek. I hope my tanks don't leak. If it's information that you seek, be sure to tune in each week. My videos take a peek. My singing and my jokes really read. Alright, so the first day I started the medication I started off with erythromycin, which the directions for this for a 10-gallon tank is put one packet in, and then 24 hours put in another dosage, and then another 24 hours later you do a water change. So this, I found it interesting to see how quickly the fish reacted. It was like it carbonated the water almost, because it just, I mean, it brought back quite a bit of energy to the fish. You can't really see the parasite here on this female, but it was definitely pretty obvious to the naked eye. So it was definitely in need of some medicinal treatment. So I think here I'm starting to pour the EM erythromycin where the sponge filter is. I figured that would give it quite a bit of aeration to spread it throughout the tank. Um, then I'm also feeding them everything aquatics, Fenbednazol, medicated food, which my fish definitely don't go crazy for, but eventually, if you follow directions and it's the only food that you give them, they will eventually eat it. That way, it helps with the internal parasites such as camellianus worms, which is the most common one I found in my guppies. That stirrup right there, the plants, was me finding a place in the duckweed where I can clear space to put the medicated food. Now you just saw, if you look closely, a fry swimming around, which I didn't notice until after I filmed. So that is the good news. The light at the end of the tunnel, kind of, um, is that is that the even after the male died, thankfully the females were already, at least one of them was already pregnant or gravid, and after the first dosing of both of the medications of erythromycin and General Cure, that it either improved the female's health or just livened her up quite a bit, or it was just time and she dropped fry, which is, I was thankful I had the Java Moss in there. I think I counted 12 fries, the most I was able to get out at one time. So that was really exciting, because hopefully out of that 12, I will be able to, get a nice mix of gender. There's another fry towards the back of the tank on the right side of the screen. I have heard that albino mothers are really bad at eating a fry, so I made an improvised fry breeder net out of, honestly, just a larger net that I caught them in, so with a smaller net, and then put them in the larger net and hung that in the tank, so that way they got heated water. So that was the good news. You see the female right there going after the fry, because in the words of Michael from Michael's Fish Room, they are tender and delicious, which they do look kind of tender and delicious if you actually wanted to eat a guppy, which I don't know why you would, but I digress down a very dark path there. So this was I actually think this was the second dosing. Yeah, it was, because the first dosing I gave both of the other medications. And with erythromycin, you give after 24 hours, and with the General Cure, you give after 48 hours. Um, and this was the exciting one where I noticed the fry. So, really good news. So, that last part of the video was recorded on Friday, and this was recorded on Sunday. The sad news update is that I lost most of the fry because I put them in a separate container, and I think it was too new of water and too much of a change, and most of the fry died. And also, I noticed in this video that this was the only female I could see. The other smaller female was swimming a little bit strange. Her fins were very ragged. even after being medicated. She looked like she had really bad fin rot, and it looked like she was not improving. And this was after the 48-hour water change and second dosing of General Cure. So I hope to make some updates later on to these fish. I hope to have some good news here. I'm trying to move around the Java moss to try to find the other female, but it was without any luck. So hope to be making some positive updates on these, but I'm just going to be real. And anyways, stay tuned and stay fishy, people.